everyone. Today I'm going to talk to you about pen names. Now, I've seen a lot of questions about author names or pen names, and I think that people are a little bit confused and they may be overthinking things a little bit. So in this video, I'm going to talk about how to create a pen name, what pen names you can use, and what it actually is. What is a pen name? Let's think about the KDP business that we're in. What are we to KDP? What are we, an author? Are we writers? What are we? In reality, we're none of that unless we have written a book, a high content book, then we can be an author. But because we haven't actually written any books, because we produce no content or low content books, we can't really call ourselves authors. But what we are is we are independent publishers. So when you have a look at your books on KDP, where it says publisher, it says independently published. And that's what our business is. If you are publishing on KDP, you are an independent publisher. So where does the pen name come into all of this? Well, first of all, as an independent publisher, you can only have one KDP account. You are not allowed to have more than one. And I see a lot of people getting into trouble with this because they open up additional KDP accounts, maybe under a different name, or they get a family member to open a KDP account. This will really get you into trouble with Amazon. So never ever open more than one account. Once you have your KDP account, that is it. You can have more than one pen name or more than one author. In fact, you can have as many as you like. But remember, you can only have one KDP account. So when you have your KDP account and you want to publish different books with different pen names, what some people are doing is they are basing their pen names on the niches that they're targeting. And that can be a good idea. So some people are, for example, using one particular pen name for one niche. So if they're producing notebooks for nurses, they will have one pen name for that. If they're producing coloring books for teenagers, they will have a pen name for that. Or if they're producing dinosaur journals, they will have another pen name for that. And that helps them to keep track of their different niches. Do I do that? No, I don't. And the reason I don't do that is because I find it really hard to keep track of different pen names. I only have about 3 or 4 pen names for all of my books. And I think that is sufficient. The other reason I don't do that is because I know a lot of people are using keywords in their pen names. And Amazon is starting to not like that. And Amazon is starting to tell people to change their author names because they have keywords in their author names. So if you have things like coloring books, journals, planners, things like that in your author name, I'm finding that Amazon are starting to say this is not acceptable, change your name. I don't think that Amazon are going to ask people to change all of their author names if they already have author names with those keywords in them. I have done that myself. When I first started publishing, I had an author name that had the word journals in the author name. And I'm not panicking about it because I didn't produce too many books in that niche. And I'm just not going to produce any more in that, with that particular pen name. But I'm just telling you because I think it's always better to avoid a problem than to fix a problem. So if you can avoid it from now on and you don't use keywords in your author name, then that's better. Also, Amazon likes it when author names sound like a person. So it has to be something that sounds like an author, like someone who's written a book. There are exceptions to this, and I'm going to show you what I mean. One of the authors or one of the people on KDP that I very often get inspiration from is an author called Pretty Simple Planners. I'll show you. So Pretty Simple Planners are usually the people that I show as an example of how to brand your author name, because you can create a brand around an author name. So they have done that very effectively. This is an example. So Pretty Simple Planners, if I click on their author name, hopefully we'll get all of their other books coming up. There we go. This is actually their author central account. So can you see how lovely and how coherent and how they all have a certain look? They're all very similar. So there's always pros and cons to everything. You could say, well, it's a little bit boring. They're all the same. But, you know, it works for them. They have really good sales. If you look at their BSRs, they're all pretty good. They're selling a lot of books. And I think they've got a few really good sellers as well. And I think they also have another pen name which is very similar. So they branded their planners and called it Pretty Simple Planners. And they have got planners in their name. So planners is considered a keyword, but they're getting away with it. All I'm saying is that going forward, maybe avoid that, because they are already established, and I think Amazon is okay about that. There's already so many books with keywords in their author name, so Amazon are probably going to let them get away with it. But going into the future, looking forward, I would say try and avoid it. I'm going to definitely try and avoid that, and I'm going to make my pen names sound like people rather than like a keyword that you would use to advertise your books. Let's see another example for this. There's an author called Pretty Simple Press. That sounds to me very similar to Pretty Simple Planners. I may be wrong. It may not be the same person, but they do have a very similar look. And this book has been ranking really highly for ages. They're ranking 1,566, which is excellent. They must be selling quite a few copies every day. They've got over 4,000 ratings, very good rank, 12,230. So they know how to brand their author name. So they've got a really good brand, Pretty Simple Press. They're producing the same type of books, but it's working very well for them. The other thing that you have to remember is when you're branding something, they probably have a Facebook group or Facebook page. They're probably spending money not only on Amazon ads, but also on Facebook ads. They may have influencers who are promoting their books. We don't know. But all I know is that it's very hard to get these kind of figures just from putting it on Amazon. You do have to promote your brand. So it's always good to brand your books. What I'm going to say now goes a little bit against what they are doing here, because like I said, Amazon doesn't like you putting keywords into your author names. So why not just make it a different name? It really doesn't matter if you have a keyword in there or not. I know it can help with people finding your planners or whatever it is, but really, you know, if you have the word planners in there, let's have a look, like Pretty Simple Planners. If you type in planner, it doesn't mean that one of their books will come up because they've got Pretty Simple Planners in their author name. They will rank because of their keywords. They will rank because of their titles. They will rank because of their subtitles. Yes, the author name can help you rank, but I don't think it's worth getting into trouble with Amazon just for that, because there's other ways that you can rank your books. I think it's better to listen to Amazon and avoid things that they don't like, because in the future they might make you take off all those books. They might make you unpublish those books. You don't know. We don't know. And I think it's better to be safe than sorry. It's better to avoid a problem than to try and fix it. So my advice is use a different kind of pen name, use a name, use something different that hasn't got keywords in it, it really doesn't matter. The other thing is you can have as many pen names as you like. And I see people who have spreadsheets with all of their pen names for different niches. I am all for making life simple. I like things to be not complicated. So my own strategy is I don't have that many pen names, and I don't care about what niches they are. Because the other thing is, if people click on your pen name and they see the same kind of books, then they will think, oh, that's what you do. You don't do anything else. But if they click on your name and they see you have very different types of books, that might make them buy another kind of your books. Maybe they like the quality of your books or the layout, and they think, oh, they make planners. I see they also do diaries, or I see they also do notebooks. So you never know, you can get sales that way as well. So to me, it's not one of the strategies that I follow. And I know a lot of people do follow that strategy, and that's fine. I'm telling you about what I do, what works for me. So I have to say, I do that differently. I don't have different pen names for different niches. I just pick a name, and I'll show you later how I do this. The other important thing is when you pick a name, make sure that it's not a trademark or not already available. You can't copyright an author name, and unfortunately people can copy author names, and there's not a lot that Amazon does about it. The only way, if somebody copies your author name, the only way you can do something about it, or Amazon does something about it, is if you have trademarked that name, or if you're a famous writer. Like, for example, if you choose Stephen King as your name, as your author name, I'm sure that Amazon will disallow that, because Stephen King is such a well-known writer, or J.K. Rowling, or any famous writer, maybe even not so famous writer. If they're already established, Amazon won't let you use that name. But when it comes to us low content publishers, there are so many of us that sometimes it's very easy to make a mistake and to take a name that somebody already has. And some people do it on purpose. It's a very tricky subject. And this is why I think don't get too hung up on your pen names. If you're going to brand it, then maybe trademark it. But you're running the risk that somebody will copy your name, or somebody will use a very similar name, and you can't do anything about it. So that's why I feel that if you're going to brand your name, you have to do it properly. You have to maybe trademark it, or you have to make it in a way where you can argue with Amazon as to why the other person can't use your name. Maybe you have a website or something like that, and then that gives you more power to say, this person has copied my name. I already exist under that name, and I want to complain about it, and then maybe Amazon will do something. But it's a complicated issue, so that's why I think keep it simple. We're publishing low content books, and we're publishing so many books. If we were publishing a novel or a high content book, that's a different matter altogether. But for us, when we're doing low content books and we're creating so many different books, don't get too hung up on your pen name, because somebody can steal it, and and then you're left, with a problem, and it shouldn't be a problem. Just use whatever pen name, make them up. The important thing is the book itself, and the important thing is to create quality books, and the pen name doesn't really, it's important, but only up to a point. It's not something that should prevent you from putting out your books, from writing your books, and from creating really good books, and not worry too much. Because I see that a lot of people are really struggling to publish their first book. They're overthinking it too much. They're thinking, what shall I call my book? What title shall I use? What pen name shall I use? And they're really thinking too much about it. Just put a book out there. Once you have published your first book, the next one will be a lot easier. So it doesn't matter if you make a mistake on the first one. if you're not 100% happy with the cover, or you're not 100% happy with your pen name, don't worry about it. Just publish it, and then you can learn as you publish more. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the Author Central account. I know you can only have one KDP account, but you can have more than one Author Central account. And then for each account, you can have, I think it's 3 different pen names, if I'm correct. I'm not actually quite sure about it. I can look that up. But the only thing that I wanted to say is that I haven't set up any Author Central accounts for my books. And to be honest, I just don't think it's necessary for low content. Again, I'm using Pretty Simple Planners as an example as to how you would do it if you were branding your pen name. They've done a very, very good job of it. They've got an Author Central account set up under their Pretty Simple Planners pen name. They've got their books here. So this is perfect. But is it really worth it? Personally, I don't think so. I may do this later on when I've got a few books that are really selling well, when I know what style I'm using for my books. Then I can start thinking of branding. And I have actually branded one of my pen names, but I haven't created an Author Central account for it yet. I will do that, and maybe I will show you as I'm doing it myself. I can then show you and make a video about this. But at the moment, I just don't think it's worth it. I think it's worth it for high content books, definitely, because you want to tell your readers about you. You want to tell them who you are. And that's when you would use your author name. But I think for low content, it doesn't matter because, like I said, you can have so many pen names. If you had to create an account for each of them, it would just take too much time. And the time that you have, you need to spend on creating books. That is far more productive than creating an Author Central account. So that's a little bit about that. Now I wanted to show you some more examples. This is an example of what can happen when someone copies your name. Now, Pretty Simple Press, we know their style of books and we know they're doing really well. They've got really good reviews. Now, this one here, Good Day Start with Gratitude, it's by Pretty Simple Press Personal Growth. Now, I could be wrong. This could be Pretty Simple Press, but I don't think it is. I think somebody has taken the name Pretty Simple Press and added Personal Growth. And they're producing gratitude planners, that type of book. But you can see that the design is completely different. It just doesn't look the same. It doesn't look like it's the same person that has designed this book. It's got a completely different feel. So I think this is somebody who has taken the Pretty Simple Press name and has added something because they know that people are going to be looking for Pretty Simple Press and they get the benefits from that. I think personally, I think it's wrong. It's clever. They're using the keywords in a way that, yes, it will drive traffic for them, but I think it's wrong. I think you are taking advantage of somebody else's designs, of somebody else's ideas, and that's not good. I am in favor of being inspired by other people, but I'm not in favor of copying other people because that will backfire. One day, I think this person will see that this is the wrong thing to do. And, I'm not judging. I don't think I have the right to judge. Nobody has, but I just don't think this is a good idea. I wouldn't do it personally. It's not ethical. It's not what I would want other people to do to me. So don't do it to somebody else. So what other examples can I show you? So I can see somebody else has jumped on the bandwagon with new Pretty Simple Planners Press. So they've used the same sort of tactic, not a strategy that I recommend at all. So let me show you some more examples. Back to School Essentials. Now, this is quite a good pen name, but it has got keywords in it. Back to school is a really good keyword. But because they call it Back to School Essentials, it sounds like a company name. And I think you can you can actually get away with that. I don't think Amazon will have any complaints about that. So this is a way where you can use a keyword, but make it so that it really sounds like a company name or a name of an author. So it's not ideal. It's still not a name, a person's name, but I don't think Amazon can complain about this too much. Personally, maybe I wouldn't do that because you don't know what's going to happen in future. But for now, it's okay for now. I'm just trying to see if I can find a name that's really good. See, again, Fun Kids Books Publishing. Keywords everywhere. Not a good idea, because I think Amazon will soon clamp down on those. This one, Porous Julia, that's a name. That's just a name. I don't think there's any problems with that at all. Now, there are no keywords, but I'm sure this person has no problem selling their book. If it's a good book, the name doesn't matter. It's a name, you know, and he could easily brand it if he wanted to. Any name can be branded. So unless it's already a trademark name, obviously then you can't. But let's see if there's any other good pen names. Here's a really good one. Octonauts Colouring Book by Molly Wood. That's perfect. That is the way I will go forward and doing my pen names, just by having a real name as an author, or, you know, it doesn't have to be a real name, just something that sounds like a name. There's another one here by Jacody Colouring Books. Again, that's got a keyword in, so I will avoid those sort of pen names, but good luck to them if they can get away with it for now. There's another one, The Simpsons Colouring Book, Callum Marshall. Obviously The Simpsons is trademarked, so I'm not sure that is an independently published one. Animal Colouring Book for Girls Ages 4 to 8 by Leah and Dana Brown. That's lovely, very good names. And this one is a Mandala Colouring Book by T-Tech Colouring Books. Again, they have their keywords in the pen name. So can you see how it doesn't give you any advantage, because so many have got the name Colouring Books in their pen name. You know, it's when people click on colouring books, they will have 10,000 colouring books coming up. It doesn't guarantee that your book will be the first thing they see. And this one here is quite funny. 100 Cities Adult Colouring Book, and the name, get this, the author name is by Stress Relieving Colouring Books for Adults. Now, if that's not a keyword, I don't know what is. This is far too long. It's, you know, it's not even an author name. It should be a subtitle. So I would not recommend that, you know, but good luck to them. Let's see what else we have. So there we have Whimsical Cat by AZ Bubble Book. That's a good name. By Jake MacDonald is a good name. MKS Colouring Books. Again, there's a keyword there, colouring books. Not good in my view. What else? Princess Unicorn. That's okay, you know, but obviously they've thought about princess and unicorn as keywords. I don't think it goes with this kind of book, because this is an anatomy human body colouring book for kids. So princesses and unicorns don't really come into that. So it's a little bit of a shame, but who knows what their thinking is behind this. It might be suitable for them. This is a strange one. Mandala Colouring Book for Beginners, and the author name is By Mandala the Colouring Book. I don't know, that doesn't sound like it's a good name, because it doesn't make sense. By Mandala the Colouring Book, is that supposed to be the first name and then the surname? I don't know. So not a good name in my opinion. By Thomas Press, that's a good word. That's a good pen name. It's got press, which is, you know, a lot of them use that for publishing books. When you're a publisher, you're a press. So yes, that's okay. That's fine. I like that. Godzilla Books, it's okay. You know, it's got books in the in the pen name, and that's a keyword, but it's okay because you're publishing books, so that's fine. The Learning Bugs, that's quite a good name because it's got learning in it as well. So I think you get the idea, more or less. It's best to use a name rather than keywords for your pen name. So I hope this has helped you a little bit when it comes to finding your author name or your pen name. And I hope that it's not too daunting now, because I know that when I designed my first book and I was thinking of an author name, it took me so long and I really worried about it. And really there's nothing to worry about. It's not that difficult. Just give your book an author name and follow the advice that I have given you in my video. Of course, you can use a different strategy. It works for other people. I'm just telling you what works for me and how I do it. And if that helps you to make your own strategy, then I'm really happy that I was able to help. And in my next video, I will give you some fun ideas where you can find your pen names and how to get ideas for your author names, because author names are all around you. You can find them and you can get inspiration from a lot of places. So that will be my next video for you. So all that's left for me to say is thank you again so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. And please subscribe if you haven't already done so. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.